Hey folks, today I want to talk about a question that I can almost guarantee you you're going to be asked in a DevOps interview. Not only that, it actually comes up towards the beginning of the interview because it's a good icebreaker type question, and it sets the path for the interviewer to ask you more questions. So before I get to that, please subscribe to my channel. That really gets me going when I see that more people are subscribing. Okay, so what they will ask you is tell me about a project that was challenging, or tell me about a project that you did it by yourself, or tell me about a project that we're really proud of. Same question, really. Basically, what they're saying is tell me about the project that you know most about. Like you have the most hands on, intimate knowledge about the project, right? So that when you answer the question, they can ask you more questions and start digging deeper. So, what do you do to prepare for this question, right? It's bound to come up. It's like a 95% chance, right? In some form or other. If I put you on a stage and asked you to talk about this project for 5 minutes, could you do it? Now, before you think, well, the 5 minutes is not a short, not it's a very small amount of time. It is not if you're up on the stage and you have to fill it with words and topics and details. That's a long time to talk about, talk about one thing for 5 minutes. So that's something you should have in your head or practice, or write it down or put in a PowerPoint, what have you, right? Enough details that that you can speak to for 5 minutes, nonstop, basically. Now, what they will ask you, or what you should say in the first attempt to answer the question is, what problem were you solving? What were you going to gain when the project was done, right? What is the reason for that? Then almost guaranteed I can ask you the next question is going to be, what challenges did you face, right? Now you're going to have to rely on your memory, like what was the project, especially if it's a favorite project of yours that you did a couple of years ago, right? Then you may not remember all the details. You may not remember the right challenge to bring up in an interview. So you have to think about that, have the answer ready, so that you can talk to it. Now, once you've answered the question, they're going to ask you secondary question based on your answer. For example, one of my favorite project was to move an entire application from on-prem to AWS for Disney, right? And that was years ago. So and that was done through Terraform mostly, right? We didn't have any CI/CD or anything like that. So often I'm asked, so tell me more about that. Like, how did you do this? What was the problem, right? And then I start to struggle with the details. For example, a question might be, so what kind of folder structure did you have for Terraform? How did you manage the state? What was the data store like? And what services did you pick on AWS and why, right? So now you really have to remember the details about the project. So you better be ready to answer those detailed questions. Otherwise, the interviewer is going to think either one, you're not that involved in the project, or you're faking it, right? Now, once you've answered the secondary question, there might be tertiary question. So let's say that the question was, well, how did you manage the state? And also, well, I had the S3 bucket where the state was, and so on and so forth. Then the interviewer might ask, so how did you manage states between different folders, and how did they interact with each other? How did you manage different environments? How did you manage infrastructure that was shared between the environment, staging and development and production, right? Now you see how you're getting into the weeds of this project. So if you haven't thought about this, then you're going to struggle, you're going to stumble, and you're going to say, ooh, all those things. And then the interviewer is going to know that that was the end of your involvement in that project. And then he or she knows where you land on this particular technology, right? So the more detail you can talk about with confidence, more he or she will know that, yeah, this guy really knows what he actually accomplished. Now, the other angle people would sometimes ask is, why not something else, right? So let's say that the answer was, oh, I used S3 for data store, or I used RDS for data store, then the question might be, well, did you think about NoSQL, and why was that not the right solution? Now you really got to put your critical hat on and say, well, why was that the case, right? Why did I not do this, right? So if you think about these kind of questions that come after you've answered the question in the first place, then you will be ready. And again, I can almost guarantee you this question will come up in one form or another in a DevOps SRE interview. Hope this was useful to you, and I will see you in the next video.